What's up, everybody? This is the professor, and I'm coming to you to talk a little bit about the radius and the ulna. Some people have questions about the radius and the ulna. One time I had a student ask me, hey, what's the difference between the radius and the ulna? How can I tell them apart? And another student who was listening to us jumped in and gave them some tips on how they can tell the difference between the radius and the ulna. And I looked at the second student and I said, hey, those are really good tips. There's just one problem. You got them backwards. But I think the tips actually still can work. And so I want to share with you some things that one of the students told them. So one of the things that they told them is you got to remember that this is in the forearm and that these two bones are how your forearm rotates. Have you ever noticed how your hand is able to rotate like this? Well, the reason why is because these two bones are crossing over one another. So this is actually a left ulna and a left radius. And the head of that radius goes in that notch. And what it does is it twists over like this. So when you supinate and pronate your hand, really what's happening is this bone is crossing over the other bone. Kind of freaky, huh? So that's just something, neat I wanted to show you about the radius and the ulna. But let's get back to how you can tell which one is which. Well, it's not really that hard once you learn this way. So this is an ulna, and ulna starts with the letter U, and this scoop here looks like it's shaped like the letter U. So U for ulna, and it's got a U-shaped scoop to it. Looks like an ice cream scooper, right? And that would be your ulna. The radius doesn't have any scoops on it, but it does have a round head. And if you remember geometry, radius is the measurement from, or the distance from the middle of a circle, or the center of a circle all the way out to its border. So radius, circle, the head of the radius is a circle. Get it? So those are the ways that you can kind of instantaneously say, oh, this is an ulna and this is a radius. Someone might say, oh man, oh, that's a radius, that's an ulna. And then they put the bones down on the table and everyone's like, ooh, ah, oh, how did they know that? They may have figured this out. Radius for round head, and then ulna for ice cream scoop, right? So there are some basics about the ulna and the radius that you want to remember as well. Remember that these are the proximal ends of these bones, and they make up your elbow. So literally, your trochlea of the humerus fits into this trochlear notch of the ulna. And then you have the radius, where you have the head of the radius, and the head of the radius fits into this groove right here. And when it fits together like such, you have the elbow. But the other ends, that's the end that I want to show you. That's the end that I think is really interesting. These two places here, this is at the base of your wrist. So the base of your hand actually attaches here. It articulates there. And so this is the spinous process of your radius. And this is the spinous process of your ulna. And this spinous process of your radius is what's underneath your thumb. That's why if you notice that your thumb has like this very smooth transition from the thumb to the side of your hand all the way down to your wrist, it's because of this right here, the styloid process there of the radius. But here is the styloid process of the ulna. I was talking to a doctor one day, and the doctor told me that one of the most common breaks that they see in small children and elderly is this styloid process here of the ulna. And I was like, why this little thing? And they said, well, number one, because of what you just said, it's little, it's small, so it's easier to break. They said, number two, it's when people try to catch themselves when they're falling, and they try to catch themselves with their hand. You know, the palm of their hand reaches out and it strikes the ground, and the weight of their body goes through their arm and into that little styloid process. And that little bone is not strong enough to take the full weight of the body of a person who's in the process of falling. So they break that styloid process. So I just wanted to go over a few real quick things about the ulna and radius. Some interesting things about the ulna and radius, as well as ways to tell the difference between the two. If you like what you heard, please hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down at the bottom. What are some more things you wanted me to talk about concerning the ulna and the radius? And we'll get to that soon. Peace.